Hey guys, happy early Christmas or Thanksgiving. I will actually be flying home for Thanksgiving in about 2 days, so looking forward to that. I'm already dressed up for Christmas because I'm tired of fall. But today I thought we could train one of my old crusty dusty horses, but you know what, I actually think it looks really cute, so maybe not too crusty. My dog is sleeping in her crate below my bed, so if she starts snoring, I genuinely am so sorry. She snores really loud. I already did training today, so unfortunately we're gonna have to start somewhere else other than Steve's. Let's go start in Valedale and check on my gardening. Once I pick up all of my gardening, I will go on until races. Sorry if I keep slurring my words. I got Invisalign and it's low-key messing up my speech every time I put in a new tray every week, so I do apologize for that. Okay, all of my gardening is finally done, so let's get on to the races. So in today's training video, I wanted to rant about college so far. So I graduated high school back in this spring, and so I'm about to finish up my first semester of university. If you don't know, I am literally a certified horse girl. I started riding when I was 7. I've been playing horse games since then, like way before Roblox, and like I know my channel was started as a Roblox Royal High channel, but that was back in high school, and lately I just feel like I don't know what to make on it. And I feel like I have kind of grown out of my older content a little bit, but like I'll still be making some videos, you know. I still like it, it's still an interest of mine. But I've been playing this game, Star Stable, and a lot of other horse games a lot longer than Roblox. So I really want to like revisit those and make videos on those, which I hope y'all don't mind. But back to the point. So, you know, I've been riding since I was 7. I've been loving horses and playing horse games since I was little. And you know, back in high school when I started applying for colleges, I was just kind of like, I don't know what I want to do. So, you know, I was just kind of like, you know, I've been very involved with horses like most of my life. So I started applying at some ag colleges for agriculture because they have really good like equine degrees, like either good equestrian teams or like good programs for people that want to get into the equine horse field in the future. And so, you know, that's what I started doing. And so I found a college like 10 hours away from my home, yet still in the same state, because Texas is just way too big. And also, sorry, I'm like on my iPad and not on my desktop. It's kind of late at night and I really don't feel like getting out of bed. But, so, you know, I found this college, about a 10-hour drive away from home. And so, you know, this fall came, you know, I came up here, I started my classes, yada yada. Well, my first story is I got randomly selected a roommate because I didn't know anyone that was coming here. Okay, well, I do know one girl from high school, but she was going into a different dorm hall than me, so I had to get a random roommate because I literally knew no one else. I met my random roommate. And you know, the first couple of weeks of the semester, we actually got along really freaking well. I thought we would be best friends and whatnot. Like, we had a lot in common. We were able to chat about like anything. Like, literally the first few nights, we were just having like deep heart-to-heart talks. And like, I thought we were doing fine. And so, you know, we were friends and we would talk every night. And you know, we didn't really hang out outside of our dorm together because, you know, she was busy with stuff with her church and classes, and, you know, I had classes in a completely different part of campus. So we didn't see each other outside much of our dorm halls at night. Well, and, you know, when I thought everything was going completely fine, she introduced me to a friend she made getting the first week of class. And, you know, I'm trying to be friendly with everyone. I don't want to give bad impressions, and like, you know, it's college, I'm away from home, I want to restart. And you know, it's like exciting because it's like no one here knows you from high school or your embarrassing moments in middle school, and so you can just literally write yourself. So I'm going out of my way to be extra kind. However, I met my roommate's new friend, and it was still the evening, so we were gonna go out and get Taco Bell for dinner in my roommate's car. And so, you know, I met her friend, and she introduced us, and I smiled, and I said, hi, my name's blah, blah, blah. Like, what's your name? And this girl, okay, I really don't want to use her real name because that kind of feels guilty, even though nobody here, not even my family, knows about this channel, but still, there's still a possibility. Let's call her Alexa. And so I go, oh, what's your name? She goes, Alexa. And I'm like, okay, we're starting off not in a friendly tone. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's Alexa, right? Because I wanted to confirm because it was really loud outside and I couldn't hear her. And this girl, she like screams at me. She goes, no, it's Alexa. And she just had this mean look on her face. And I was just like, oh, okay. Because I said Alexa. Like, I said her name right, and she thought I didn't. And she, like, yelled at me for it. So, we go inside and we get our taco. Well, we didn't go inside. We went through the drive-thru. And so we go through the drive-thru and get our Taco Bell. And throughout the drive, like, I was in the back seat, and then my roommate was driving, and then Alexa was in the passenger seat. And, you know, they were talking, and then my roommate would, like, include me in on the conversation. And then anytime I spoke, this girl, Alexa, she would, like, turn around and be like, ugh. Or just make a face at me, and like I didn't want to be rude back. Like, you know, I didn't want to give her a reason to not like me. And so I don't even know where I'm going. Hold on. It's the first time meeting this girl. Like, I'm not gonna give her a reason to not like me. And you know, I just don't want to be mean. Like, that's just not who I am. I don't like being mean and nasty. So, you know, I just ignored it. I acted like nothing was happening, and I just kept walking. Well, not walking, I just kept talking and listening. So that was my first impression of Alexa after we had our Taco Bell and I went to bed. But, you know, a few days, about like a week goes by, and before me and my roommate went to bed, she told me, she's like, hey, so Alexa's roommate moved out, and I kind of want to move in with her. And I was like, oh, like that took me by surprise because I thought like nothing wrong was happening. Like, I was like, did I do something to her? And I started thinking, I was like, did I offend Alexa somehow by saying her name wrong? Did I upset my roommate? And yada yada. But like, and then, you know, I didn't ask. I was just like, oh, okay, like, that's fine with me. Thank you for letting me know. Yada yada. Like, I wasn't gonna let her know. Like, oh, you're hurting my feelings, blah, blah, blah. Like, I didn't want to do that. Like, I don't like bothering people with my feelings. And so this was on a Friday, and she goes, yeah, and I'm hoping to move in with her this weekend once my room change request gets accepted. I was like, oh, you already sent it in? And, you know, I didn't say that. I just kind of smiled and nodded. I was like, oh, okay. And she goes, you know, it's nothing against you. I was like, and I didn't ask, so I was like, maybe I did do something and I didn't realize. And, you know, that was like a few months ago, and I still don't know. Like, I started like reanalyzing like all of our conversations, all of our interactions and whatnot, but I couldn't like pinpoint a time that stood out to me, or maybe I was like rude or weird, because, you know, I've been making a big effort not to this semester. It's like, you know, new people, new me. And see, like, I've never tried to be rude in the past. It's just, I've always been kind of a weird kid, if you can't really tell. I've always been kind of dorky and awkward and quiet and nerdy. So, you know, and I thought maybe I let that out. And she goes, oh, no, maybe she thinks I'm weird, or maybe, like, I offended her when I said Alexi's name wrong. But anyway, and so, you know, I was really hurt, but I didn't want to, like, let her know that. And so, you know, the weekend comes, she moves out. But she moved out while I was in class, so I came back to class, and half of my room is just empty. So, and it just made me really sad, you know? So, like, I called my mom, and I was in, like, tears, and I was like, I don't know what I did wrong, and yada yada. And then I got to thinking, I was like, is it because this girl kept walking in on me changing? Because my roommate, she wouldn't really knock sometimes, and so I would always change in the room instead of the bathroom when she wasn't there. And so there were times she would like walk in on me like booty naked. And so I thought maybe it was because she kept walking in on me changing and thought I was weird for changing in the room and not in the bathroom. So I low-key was like, Mom, she thinks I'm weird because she saw my butt cheeks. And my mom's just like, no, yada yada. And so, that was me for a few weeks, like reanalyzing every interaction we had and her catching me changing in the room. But, my mom kept saying, like, God removed her for a reason. But, like, I don't hate her. Like, I would say we're still friends, Like, I'll still see her in the hallways or around campus, and I'll smile and I'll wave at her, or, like, I'll give her a compliment. Like, that's been my thing this semester. Like, every time I'm in the elevator with someone, or I'm in line waiting for a class, or a food court in the student center, I'll be sure to give someone a compliment. And so, we've been doing that, and, like, there hasn't been any tension between us. So, like, I'm pretty much over it now. Like, I think it was just a whole new friend, bestie, want to move in with her kind of thing. But, I'm a lot over it now. Let me go find the next race. So that was my first college story experience kind of thing. So, the semester goes by, like, and I've made a lot of new friends, including my old roommate. Like, we're still friends. Like, I literally saw her in the hallway today, but, like, she'll still talk with me, and we'll still chat if we see each other. But, after she moved out, I actually, adopted a dog, and so I'll get to that in a sec. But the shelter I adopted her from, I've been looking for some work to do, like a part-time job to do while I do my courses, like earn some extra cash, help pay for groceries and my tuition and whatnot. So, and I was looking at my dog while I was picking out my dog, and then I thought, well, I'm really good with animals and I really like animals. Maybe I could see if they have a job opening. And so, I asked, I was like, do y'all have any job applications open? And they just hired me on the spot, like no questions asked. And so, I should have taken that as the first sign maybe things weren't run properly. But, I was just excited. I was like, oh, free job, Well, I started working the next day, and, that itself isn't bad. But the problem was, so I started working the evening shifts, and which I thought worked perfectly out with my schedule because, all my classes were in the morning or the afternoon, and I had a lot of time to myself in the evenings. So, I started working in the evenings, and I was working as a kennel technician, and they had me working with the puppies and the small dogs. And so basically I was told I would just be cleaning the stalls, their kennels, every night, and making sure they got playtime. And so, and I was like, oh, okay, like, I don't mind getting dirty. Well, someone donated a big bag of treats to this shelter, and it gave every single one of the puppies diarrhea. And so my first night, I was covered, like, head to toe in dog sick. Like, my clothes were just stained, and I literally had to walk back into campus, literally covered in dog poop. It was terrible. And so, and they had me working the evenings every single night. But then it got to the point they had me working until from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. And I could not do that with my school schedule, like, at all. Like, I worked there for a total of 2 weeks. And for those 2 weeks, I was working my butt off. Like, I wanted to make sure I could work hard, get paid, and yet, I was, like, I will admit I was kind of miserable working till 1 a.m, getting up at 8 a.m. for classes, and always being covered in dog poop. But, I didn't want to complain. I wanted to persevere and prove that I could do this. Well, it got to the point I couldn't make it to class anymore because I either had to keep showering because I kept smelling bad, like dog sick, or I wasn't getting home until like 2 a.m, and then I had class like in 5 hours, and I just couldn't do it. And then I had my own dog back home that I needed to take care of. And so then one day when I walked in, keep in mind, I haven't met the owner of the shelter yet. or like my boss. I've only met my manager. And so, I've heard like horror stories of the boss, like big time. And so I was kind of nervous about meeting her. But one day while I was working, I heard she was in the office. And so, before I clocked in for my shift, I made sure to go out of my way and greet her. I want to at least try to make a first impression. Or for some reason, I can't make good first impressions, because I went up to her to go shake her hand, and I walked over, I was like, hi, my name is blah, 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 like, I'll be working here from now in the evening shifts, like, it's really nice to meet you. And this lady she just looked at my hand, held out for a handshake, and she just glared at me, and then she turned to this random lady at the desk and just flew off the handle. Like, she started yelling and screaming about, who does she think she is? Like, she just walk in here and get paid. Who the heck hired her? Like, she started cussing a lot too. I was like, oh my goodness, like, this is scary. I just met her. And so eventually later that night, I was physically so tired. Like, I was so sleep deprived, I was actually getting sick from it. And so I just told my boss, I was like, well, not my boss, my manager, I was like, miss, I can't do this anymore. She goes, no honey, like, you're good, you got this. And so she said I was free to go home, and she said I didn't have to put in my 2 weeks. Like, she completely understood. Like, she knew I had college to attend. And so, I'm very, very grateful for my old manager. Like, she was a saint. She's the sweetest woman. But I was texting my old manager, a question about my dog, and about a week later after I left, and apparently that boss that, like, flew off the handle at me, like, fired everybody after I quit. So I was like, oh, well, that's not good. So that was my second college story. But now, like, the past couple of months have actually been going, like, very smooth sailing. Like, I've made a lot of new friends. I feel like I've improved as a person and growing at this stage of my life. And people here are very, very kind. I'm enjoying, my classes. And I'm also enjoying, one of my classes is I just get to ride for an hour and a half, and it's awesome. Like, I'm actually so excited because I'm actually learning a lot of new riding skills I didn't learn as a kid. So this is very exciting for me personally. Today, like, my friends love my dog. Like, I love my dog too. Like, she's very, very sweet and silly. But my friends love taking her to the dog park and just playing with her. And so that's actually how I've made a lot of my friends, like, is at the dog park. Because apparently, like, I didn't realize how many, like, people on campus also have dogs. And so I keep meeting them at the dog park, and so we'll get to talking. Like, apparently, like, a few of them are actually in my classes, and I just didn't realize. Because I'm very, very shy in my class. Like, I've always been a very shy person in school, and that really hasn't changed in college. Okay, so now we're in South Hoof because I really didn't feel like doing the mystical races. Like, I was there earlier doing daily quests for Reputation, and I didn't feel like going back. I don't know why. But yeah, back to my dog and the dog park. Like, I'm very shy in my classes. And so, I always keep to myself. I sit at the front because I'm blind and just cannot see, so I always sit at the front. So I'm sitting at the front. And so, that's when I don't really talk because I am very shy. So I didn't realize that some of my friends were in my classes. But, like, college has been very nice and fun lately. Like, once things settled down and I got used to everything, I've been having a lot of fun. And, like, a lot of people here, like, yeah, you're gonna meet some unpleasant people. Like, that just happens no matter where you go. And so, just gotta take the good with the bad. And so, but, I got to thinking, and I was like, wow, like, this is so much better than high school. Because I get to choose my own times when I take my classes and what classes. And they're actually classes I want to take. Like, Mondays and Wednesdays, I only have 2 classes from, like, 11 a.m. to noon, and then 1 to 2. And, like, oh, whoops. So, it's very nice. And so, because now I'm, like, thinking, in high school, I was, like, waking up at 6 a.m. and then going to, like, an 8-hour school day. And now I'm just thinking, like, how did I do that? Like, I can barely get up at 9 a.m., which, I mean, I obviously do because I have to take my dog out and then go to class, but, like, to me, it's, like, hard because I just want to sleep in all the time until, like, noon. But I'm very fortunate with my current schedule. So it's, like, to all current high schoolers or, like, middle schoolers or anyone, it gets easier in college, don't worry. Unless you really like high school and middle school, then good for you. But I didn't. But like I get every Friday off. I don't have classes on Friday, which is also very nice. But I've been away from home since like August, and it's now like Thanksgiving in like 2 days. So, and I haven't been home because I am 10 hours away. So I'm kind of nervous, but like also excited to fly home on Wednesday. I'm like recording this like Monday night, but I'm also gonna miss my dog because I have to go take her to be boarded while I'm home, and I'm gonna miss her so much. But thankfully, I'll be driving the 10 hours home for Christmas. But she'll be coming with me, and we will be staying at my dad's house. So I'm really excited because I do live in a dorm room, and I feel bad that she doesn't have like a big yard to play in. That's why we go to the dog park every day. But my dad has a nice yard, and one of my other dogs is there, and it's a wiener dog, and her name is Roxy. So I'm very excited for my dog Juno to meet Roxy. Like, I know they're gonna be best friends, and I'm so excited. Yeah. So when I adopted my dog, I just want to talk about my dog because she's really silly and cute, and I love her so much. But my dog, the shelter told me that she was a German Shepherd mix, but like she has like no inch of German Shepherd in it. Like, she looks nothing like a German Shepherd. And she's about a medium-sized dog, and she has like a brindle coat. And for like a German Shepherd, like a brindle colored coat isn't standard at all for the breed. So I was very confused. So like I took a quick picture of her and I uploaded it to like Google's image search. So I uploaded a picture of her onto like Google's like reverse image search, where you basically just upload a photo and like it will Google search it. And it said she was something called a plot hound, like PLOTT. I was like, what the heck is a plot hound? And so I started looking into them. I was like, oh my gosh, like a plot hound looks exactly like her. Like, she looks just like a plot hound on Google. So she's not a German Shepherd mix, like, at all. She's very much a plot hound. And so I was reading into the breed, and apparently they were bred to like hunt black bears. And I'm looking at my dog, and I'm just kind of like, there's no way you could hunt a black bear. Like, you're just a goober. But she can definitely go after a squirrel. Like, she freaking loves squirrels. Like, oh my god. But I mean, like, other than that, I'm trying to think, like, other things to yap about college. Because it has been kind of, like, low-key. Like, I've just, like, after the first month or so, like, I've kind of just been focusing on classes, doing my daily chores, and working on my hobbies, and playing games. But, oh, speaking of hobbies, like, I noticed, like, the first couple of months of college, like, the semester, I haven't been spending, like, any time on my hobbies. Like, I just go to class, take my dog out, go to the park, and sit on my phone and doom scroll for, like, hours. And I was like, I haven't done, like, any of my hobbies, like, reading or crafting or painting or crocheting. Like, I'm a very artsy person, and so when I realized, like, I was not being crafty and artsy, I was just doom scrolling with my life, I got really kind of sad. So I went to the dollar store where nothing is $1 anymore. And, I got some painting supplies, and then I put my dog in the car, and we went to the park, and it was really nice. I got to paint a little gingerbread house in the sunset. So we had a good time painting at the park, and she just went and played with other puppies, and someone was throwing the ball for her, which I thought was very sweet. Like, another hobby of mine is I started crocheting, because back in high school I kept having like a lot of surgeries and procedures, and I was always on bed and couch rest, so I really needed something to do with just my hands, and because I was having a lot of surgeries like on the lower parts of my body, like my knees and stuff, and so I needed something to do with like my hands. And so that's how I got into crochet. And so But when I was packing for college, my mom said I couldn't bring any of my crochet yarn or any of my stuff because I had no room. And like I was kind of like upset. I was like, what do you mean I don't have any room? Like, la 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 la. But you know, she was right. I didn't have room because I underestimated how small and how there's like no storage in a dorm room, even when you bring bins and stuff. So I had to leave all my crochet stuff behind. And you know, when I was painting at the dollar store, I like FaceTime my mom. And I was like, can I go to Michael's and get some yarn? And she was very kind enough to cover it for me, not realizing I would accidentally go ham. And it's because I went into the Michael's and they had a yarn sale. So it was like, buy one, get one 50% off. Well, I didn't see that it said only for select brands because it was in small fine print, which I think is evil. And so I got 3 balls of yarn because I really want to make a big granny square blanket. And because the brand of yarn I selected wasn't on sale, I accidentally spent $62 on yarn, 3 balls of yarn. And so my mom called me because she saw the receipt and she goes, girl, what are you doing? Like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, whoops. But I did the math for these crochet granny squares, and for the blanket I want to make a 6x7. I have to make 42 whole squares, and I've only done 1.5 over like the past 2 days, and I don't have a lot of motivation now that I have all this yarn. But like, you know, my mom was very nice to get me it, so I gotta do it. But now it's just kind of like, oh my god, this is gonna take me so long, and that's why I'm like procrastinating it, because I know it's gonna take so long. But you know, I have to do it. But thankfully I don't do that with my schoolwork. Thankfully. I almost did once, but I didn't. So do your schoolwork, kids. So I think that's gonna be it for this training and yap session. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed or found it entertaining. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.